All right. So where the bloody hell have I been is probably my number one asked question at the moment. So welcome to the first episode of Driven Garage. I am back on YouTube, and if you're new here, then welcome, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy the content. It's something new for me, and it's sort of a different route than what some of you who are familiar with who I am and what I used to do. So let's just jump straight into it. A bit of explanation about where I've been and what's been going on, what is the new direction, and what is this channel even about? Pretty good questions if you ask me, because I really haven't led on with a whole lot of stuff, and I've kind of been silent. First question, where have I been? I've just kind of been enjoying like a simple life, just living a normal life and taking a bit of a break from social media. Been doing it for nearly 6 years consecutively and full time in YouTube for like the last 2.5 years, and it was nice to have a break. It was much needed, but I'm coming back and I'm feeling refreshed. So I'm decided to get into this new channel, which if you haven't really figured out, it's going to be a little bit build focused. I've done a lot of traveling and I've absolutely loved it, but I don't know. Tinkering in the shed is just something that makes me tick, and I wanted to do more of it. And I just thought I have this massive platform where I have so many of you guys that follow along on these adventures that I do. And I just thought, why not share with you guys the knowledge that I'm learning and the things that I'm figuring out, because I know that it can be so difficult in this industry to try and figure out so many things, whether it's behind the wheel, whether it's in the shed. Finding the information isn't always easy. And the thing is, I'm really fortunate and I do have access to a lot of brands and a lot of professionals that I thought, why don't I take advantage of that in a way that I can ask them the right questions and get the right answers and then share it back with you guys, because at the end of the day, I do have this access and I want to use it in a way that's more valuable to you guys. So that's what Driven's kind of going to be about. And to kick it off without rambling too much, let's just jump straight into it. So essentially, if you know me, I drive a dirty old Datsun. I've got the GU Patrol, the old TD42. Love it. It's not going anywhere. She's still in the shed. But I did just buy this brand new N80 Hilux. Why? I don't know. Look, I was sick of not having my aircon working. I was sick of worrying about my temperature. I was sick of worrying about if the kettle was going to blow up, if it was going to make it up the hill or drive on the sand. And look, to be honest, it should just be a wheeler. It's getting old. Dailying it and driving it every day and doing long distance travel in it, it's just as comfortable as it could be. So I thought, why not upgrade and buy something that's a little bit more modern, a little bit more reliable, and something that's going to teach me something new. I've always wheeled a solid axle, and yes, it's twin locks and reductions. I drove it a few years without all those little spicy mods, and it taught me how to wheel. But I feel like I've gotten really complacent in the solid axle that I don't even think about my lines when I'm wheeling anymore. So I kind of wanted to challenge myself a little bit more and buy something that requires probably a little bit more mechanical sympathy, and something that's going to teach me a thing or two. So going back to something that's probably not the best platform for wheeling, but it's going to teach me how to pick lines again, different lines, and excel my driving skills beyond what they are now. I thought when I brought this car, let's do a bit of a series on it and show you guys what I'm figuring out. Now, I do want to be really hands-on, and this is what this channel is going to be about, because at the end of the day, if I can do it, then you can do it too. It's going to be embarrassing at times because I've got no idea what I'm doing. If it's a TD, maybe. If it's anything else, absolutely not. I'm going to show you all the mistakes I make in hopes that you don't make them too. And if I get things right, then awesome. Hopefully I can teach you guys something, or you can teach me something in the comments below. So with the Hilux, when I bought the brand new car, there's so many modifications you can do. And obviously with my GU, I've got lift and I run big tires and all those modifications that help off-road. But it does cause a few problems on road, and I'm not talking about the way it handles, I'm talking about the legality side of things. When I bought this car, I knew that I didn't want to have to stress about the boys in blue, and I didn't have to want to worry about the legal side of things. I wanted the car to be completely legal and modify it within the laws that we have here in Australia, which suck, but it is the reality, and things are getting harder and stricter. And also I'm online and setting an example for you guys, and I don't want to be sending the wrong message. So with all the research I've done, I've tried to find the best way I can mod these cars legally. So let's jump into this episode and go through the very first thing I did to this car, and that was SSM. Now, if you don't know what SSM is and you're in the market of buying a new car, then you probably should look into it. What it is, it's called second stage manufacturing, and it applies for a whole heap of things. I use it for suspension, but you can use it for engine work and a bunch of other modifications. Pretty much anything you can do to modify a car, there is a realm of SSM that you can sort of research into. I did the suspension because I knew that I still wanted to wheel this car. Even though it was IFS, I didn't want to limit myself and not have a car that I could take out on the tracks. Now, being IFS, I don't need to explain to you guys the problems with IFS versus solo axle off-road. You probably already know them. Essentially, I wanted to maximize what I can out of this car legally and off-road and have the ability to still wheel it and be legal. What I did was contact Superior Engineering. I know they've been doing SSM for a while. You would have seen it a lot with their cruisers and the 300 series. They can do like 4-inch and 37s and 79. Crazy what they're able to do on these vehicles legally now. Unfortunately, the Hilux isn't as crazy as that, but I still got more than I would have had I modified and done something post-rego with this car. You have to do your research when it comes to SSM because you have to do SSM pre-rego. There's no ifs or buts about it. It has to be done before the car is registered. And if you're wondering why, it's because essentially what they do is a second stage of manufacturing. It's essentially taking a base model vehicle like the N80 Hilux here and making it an alternate vehicle. They essentially are removing your compliance plates and replacing them with their own. What this is going to allow you to do, and what it allowed me to do with this Hilux, was install a 4-inch lift and run 295s legally. According to the government, this vehicle, as standard, is 4-inch lifted on 295s because it went through second stage manufacturing, and it's no longer a generic Toyota Hilux, it's a superior Toyota Hilux. And the other reason I really found it beneficial is if I took my Patrol, for instance, it's engineered in New South Wales. I moved to Queensland. State rules aren't the same, and a lot of you probably already know this, but if I was engineered in New South Wales and I moved to Queensland, my New South Wales engineering would mean nothing because it was done post-rego, and Queensland rules are different and it would have to be re-engineered in Queensland. The thing is with SSM, it's recognised nationwide because it's done under the national rules and regs. So this car is currently registered in New South Wales. Should I move to Queensland? Not an issue. SSM is recognised, as I said, nationwide. So I sell this car, I move interstate, I'm never going to have to think about engineering again. It's done. This is what it is. Like I said, as standard, it is now recognised that it is lifted on 4-inch 295 and coil converted. That is it. That's the vehicle. If you want to build a car that's legal and you want to maximise your mods, SSM is honestly your only route. And it just changes the whole way the legal system works when it comes to modifying these cars. And this is why it was just so worth it for me. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is SSM is sick. If you're looking for a way around to get the biggest list and tires on your car and keeping it street legal and reaping all these benefits I've just spoken about, then you really need to do your research into SSM.
It's full suspension. We're not just talking coil conversion in the rear, we're talking about the suspension in the front, braided brake lines, all the kinds of upgrades, plus a GVM. For me, when it comes to the brand new car, a lot of people are eventually going to put auto suspension in the car, which is still costly. And when you weigh up the difference of a couple grand in the scheme of things, it was really worth it for me to go with this full coil conversion. One, the benefits of the added comfort on-road, articulation off-road. The reason I did this is I found lots of benefits for me and my application in the second stage manufacturing process that to me, it was kind of a no-brainer. Like I said, this is all my personal preference and something I've chosen to do because of how I plan to apply this vehicle. So now that the suspension is complete, we're going to jump into the Driven HQ and we're going to go through and add through a couple last modifications before we go out and test this kit out.
We are back home from Superior. Modification list has not ended. We're actually jumping into the Driven garage. It's the first time we're actually doing it on camera. We've got a few things to add into this car. We're going to try and get as much of it done as we can today. So let's stop rambling and let's get into it. All right, I feel like a lot's not going right today, but it's fine. Now getting on to probably the cheapest mod in this episode is going to rebadge the Hilux. So we're going to take these off. I've actually got some color matched one here. You can literally buy these for like 10 or 11 bucks from Toyota. So it's pretty cheap, pretty easy to do. Gonna get a heat gun out, warm these up, rip them off. I'm even thinking about putting this a bit higher to sort of go with the flow of the indicator there. I don't know. We'll see how we go. But we're going to chuck this on, and the Superior, a Bacteria kit one too. So let's get it hot in here. I mean, it's not bad. I'm staring at it too long. It looks crooked. Someone tell me. That's so crooked.
No, that's pretty good. It's alright.
It's on there now anyway. Who cares? Right though. So I've wrapped it up in the shed. I've shown you guys the first few quick little mods that I've done on this car. I think it's about time we actually go hit some dirt. I built some four-wheel drive tracks in the backyard. They're nothing too special, but definitely get this car articulating. But I'm going to take it one step further rather than just showing you guys this car off-road. Let's do a bit of a comparison. I've gone one step further and I've actually picked up a brand new Toyota Hilux. This is an SR5 and it's completely standard besides some fancy little wheels on it. But it's still leaf sprung in the rear. So I thought, let's take the two of them out side by side and I can show you the difference with the core conversion versus the factory setup. So without further ado, let's go hit some tracks.
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot him.
Do you know how to drive an IFS?
No, oh, well, look, I wouldn't confidently say yes. So, like, this could be, like, a really bad review of this car because it could just be come down to, like, driver error. So, we'll see how we go. The car could be above my pay grade yet. We'll see. First up, we've got an uphill with a few ruts in it. Let's just see if we can get up there. Feel that rear work. Oh, that feels unreal. That feels good. That feels good. It's like a modern day patrol. Oh, we've got clearance with the rear end, so that's good. Right, so I think this is past the first part. Let's see how the blue Hilux goes doing the exact same line. We've got a few key differences. One, obviously mine's coil converted. This is completely factory besides some wheels on it, but no lift, no suspension upgrades. It's also manual, mine's auto, and yeah, that's about it. So let's just go see what it does. So I am using the rear locker in both the vehicles, so it's fair. I'm actually a little worried about clearance in this thing. So I might take a slightly different line just to not end up on the side steps. Oh, that's a side step. One, besides articulation suspension, we just don't have the same clearance. Obviously, that's what happens when you put a lift in it. So let me just readjust this line slightly because we don't want to be folding side steps in today.
Yeah.
Trying to get this thing through just unscathed is an issue.
How many Ks does this car have on the clock?
This car has 152, and it's also for sale if anyone's interested. So I will try not damage it in case you want to buy it.
And we're 130 from the dealership.
It's brand new. Brand new. I'll buy you new side steps if you do want to buy it.
You good? Yeah.
All right, so I know it's like comparing oranges and apples. This obviously had a core conversion. It's obviously going to work better, but I just wanted to bring and show you guys the car out of the box versus the new Hilux being core converted, so you guys can really see the differences in the suspension working. Now, Josh has gone ahead, and these holes are a bit bigger down here. I was a little bit worried about taking that thing through for clearance, but... oh, has he gotten out? He nearly got stuck. I guess it means I may as well go take this thing through it. Well, clearly that thing has a few clearance issues, but as any standard car does, Obviously, you don't have to go ahead and get a coil conversion to be able to do exactly what I'm doing. Any lift will kind of obviously help with the issues that car's having, but obviously you can see with the coil conversion articulation, the way the rear end's working. When we do start to hit some harder tracks, this is when this kit's going to make a difference. So I'm keen to get back in the shed and put some gear on it to set it up for these harder tracks. But for now, I'm going to keep playing around here and join Josh.
Bass hit your be like. When the bass hit your face, you be like. When the bass hit your face, you be like. When the bass. Give me something now to get the people. I got something now to get the people.
All right, so I've had a bit of fun playing in the mud. Now back up in the shed. I still actually have a few more mods to go. We got some breathers, got some wheels to go on the car, but that's going to have to wait for next episode. I really just wanted this episode to show you guys that brought the N80, we're building it, and where we're kicking it off with obviously the coil conversion. I brought out the stock N80 just to sort of show you guys from out of the box how the Hilux was to what it is now and the difference with the coil conversion. But if you guys have any questions in regards to any of it, let me know. I can answer it in the next video. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. I've got to start cracking into some more mods.